Joining us for an exclusive interview is Box CEO Aaron Levie. Nice to see you. So first, tell us what sort of measures you've taken for your workers and your clients.
Yeah, so we are in full on all hands on deck right now, both to make sure that we're protecting the health and safety of our employees, as well as making sure that we're driving the resiliency and uninterrupted service for our platform. So we have a bunch of measures internally. Things like encourage work from home, that's on a global basis. We have a bunch of health measures happening within our offices for anybody that happens to come in, but we have a lot of employees now working remotely. And then we are all hands on deck on making sure that our service remains resilient and scalable and secure for all of our customers that are now experiencing this unanticipated surge of remote work and cloud collaboration. So that's really our focus at this point now, is helping our 100,000 customers make sure that they can very smoothly operate in the cloud and work in this much more remote and distributed fashion.
Aaron, can you talk about capacity limits? Are they being tested? What investments might you need to make if they are?
Yeah, so right now we have a very strong handle on the situation. We did see record usage last week, but it right now is again we've modeled out our growth and have a good sense of the usage patterns. We have redundant infrastructure that we manage out of multiple data centers, and we leverage public cloud partners as well in a very geographically distributed way. So right now we feel very confident in the scalability and resilience of the platform. But we are having many customers reach out to us now at this point and say, hey, we're looking for support and help as we very rapidly move to the cloud. And there's a lot of companies and organizations that are trying to figure out for the first time how do they go fully distributed and fully remote, which is becoming a brand new phenomenon for most organizations right now.
How about new customers? How much have been? I assume there's been a stair step in the last couple of weeks.
Right now, we're pretty focused on the existing customer base. We actually announced just yesterday that any enterprise customer with Box can increase their usage with no limits for the next 30 days. We know that there's a lot of unusual usage patterns within their organization, so we wanted to remove any licensing limits for people that have a burst in remote work, or if they need to move really quickly with expanding part of their workforce. So we are very focused on our existing customer base. We are, certainly hearing from new prospective customers, but as you can imagine, it's very hard to light up these initiatives rapidly. So right now we're focused on making sure our existing customers can expand and move to the cloud and grow their usage in a very efficient way.
So it's interesting, because I was going to ask you whether you've seen a slowdown in corporate spending. I mean, all the talk here on Wall Street is that we're starting to price in a recession, and with that usually comes reduced software spending. So how do you think about that going forward as we start to weigh the economic impact here?
Yeah, that one's a little bit trickier. So, certainly IT budgets, would be impacted, as we would, see this ripple through the economy. I think there is certainly a category of technology that companies are going to have to increase their usage of. So if you think about products like Zoom or products like Slack or Okta, so cloud-based technologies that help you work in a modern way, I would expect that those companies are able to counterbalance some of the economic headwinds that certainly we would expect to see. It's so early to tell what the IT budget implications are, so hard to make any long-term financial statements other than right now what is happening is, nearly every company globally is trying to figure out how do they enable remote work, how do they move to digital platforms, and they're looking for partners to help them do that. So, we're obviously one of those with nearly 100,000 customers, and we want to lean into that. And as much as possible that we can be a good partner for our customers right now.
I have to imagine you believe on a macro level, if we're going to go into an episode like this, and as tragic as it is, the fact that this infrastructure was in place is a mitigation aid in and of itself, right?
Well, I think what's interesting is, we classically think of supply chains as sort of how do components move through a global ecosystem. We haven't yet thought about supply chains as all of the knowledge workers and all of the people that we depend on, our partners, our professional services firms. And so we are seeing this ripple effect of the extended enterprise and all the interdependencies that companies have. So the cloud is the only way that you can enable the continued collaboration, the continued work with your global supply chain and your global value chain. So this is why we're seeing such a significant increase in usage of products like Zoom or Slack or files being shared on Box, is because business still has to keep running. It's just now being run in a distributed fashion, in a remote fashion, and the cloud is really the only modern way to deliver those types of use cases. So some companies are extremely...
Some members of the tech community and some of the representatives from Apple and Google and Amazon are asking for help in combating this. What would you say to the White House? What would you like to see from them, and how can you help out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, consistent information that is, accurate and up to date is incredibly helpful at this point. You can imagine every company is trying to figure out what is the spread of this virus and what can we do to help with our communities and reduce the spread. So that information is incredibly helpful, and again, best practices coming out of the World Health Organization and the CDC are incredibly important. And then equally, I think we should look to technology companies or any organization that can help in this situation. Lean in as much as humanly possible to make sure that we can enable this type of continuity. So we're going to do our part again for our customers, and we're looking forward to many other partners and technology vendors to do the same within their ecosystems, and hopefully we can drive a way to get through this.
Aaron Levie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.